Alrighty. We're looking at the medieval faction, so let's just get this one out of the way. The Bard is awful. Okay, welcome back to the series where I look through each faction to see which unit of that faction is best. Today's video will of course be looking at the medieval faction. Looking at the functions of each unit, this faction is standard. You have your standard unit with a sword, your standard unit with a bow and arrow, with a few unique units thrown in. All of this adding up to this model faction. Looking at the faction as a whole, there aren't any unit types not represented, and a lot of other units are derived from units in this faction. The archer being the most obvious example, and the spooky faction being pretty much a dark version of the medieval faction. Those factions very much go hand in hand. Anyway, you're here to see who I think the best of this faction is. So without any further ado, let's get on with the video. Like always, I'll start by eliminating units that have no hope at contesting the legendary best spot. The Squire. I'm going to start sounding like a bit of a broken record, but peasant units aren't great at much, and as peasant units go, this one's very in the middle. It's got decent damage and is much more durable than, say, the Clubber, but when compared to the upper band of peasant units, it doesn't really stand a chance. And when compared to the rest of this faction, it really doesn't stand a chance. Next up is the Archer. Get ready, for I'm about to recite the phrase of the day. This unit is very standard. It's your standard ranged unit. I mean, it's alright. It does in fact attack from a distance. It does in fact do pretty decent damage, and has a good reload. But that's it. Doesn't have a gimmick, like for example the Snake or Firework Archers. It's just your standard ranged unit, meaning the other units in this faction are much more useful. Alright, next one to be removed is the Knight. This unit is a bit of a weird one. Can't quite tell if this guy's a tank or an expensive soldier unit. I would be more inclined to say it's a tank, but either way, the boss unit of this faction also happens to be a tank and a soldier type unit, so it's getting axed either way. To this unit's credit, it does have a shield, being rather annoying for ranged units, but I don't think that's enough to save him. Alright, we have once again narrowed it down to 3 units. The Healer, the Catapult, and the King. The Healer, formerly known as the Priest, and as the name implies, this unit is a healer, being a very unique and useful ability all around, as well as being one of the first instances of a direct counter. Being so unique and useful means that it's the best, and in some cases the only way to cripple certain units. For example, Cupid and pretty much every peasant unit. The Catapult, the first instance of a special type of unit, the Siege unit. As Siege units goes, it's okay. It definitely feels more multi-purpose, which for a Siege unit, it tries to be good at crowd control and targeting specific units, but ends up being rather average at both. Lastly, the King, being a very versatile unit, but mainly falls into the tank and boss unit category. He hits pretty good damage, and has a pretty good health pool, and when the game first released, he was a serious candidate for the best unit in the game. But times have changed, and nerfs have been issued, but I still think he's pretty good. Doesn't have a gimmick per se, but the King is so damn versatile. So which is best? Which unit of the medieval faction is the best? It's of course the Bard. Nah, I'm just kidding, that unit sucks. Yeah, it's the King. Pretty obvious pick in my eyes. No unit in this faction comes close to this guy. He's so versatile and useful, and when it comes to tabs units, that's really where you want to be. Like I said previously, this unit has no gimmick. It's just very versatile, which does make it one of the more standard best units in a faction. Alright, thank you so much for watching my video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave it a like and perhaps consider subscribing to get more content just like this. Definitely let me know who you think the best unit in the medieval faction is in the comments, and with all that being said, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.